It's time to step inside the Octagon with your host, Ike Feldman.
What's up, fight fans? What's up, combat sports community? What's up, local combat sports community? And if you are living and breathing and living on Strong Island, New York, then you know this man to the right of me, the fight doctor, Dr. Nick, taking over Seaside, New York.
Seaford.
I got the Jersey Shore stuck in my
Close.
head.
Close enough.
It's summertime. Shout outs to Snooki, Paulie D. You got to name a member now.
I was a Vinny fan myself.
Vinny.
The guy that stays out of trouble.
Ronnie. Yeah.
The situation.
Situation. How could I forget about it? But we have a situation now.
Dina.
Wow. Yeah, she came in later seasons. Wow. Mm-hmm. Excellent memory. And we were talking before in an unrecorded conversation about how great your memory is. But I'm going to glow over you right now. Not glaze, but encouragement, positive reinforcement. Dr. Nick, love and appreciate you as a professional. Respect you as a professional. You're incredible. Respect you as a martial artist. You're incredible. But most of all, as a human being, the kind-hearted that sticks out most to me. You're a well-spoken individual, cool cat, working hard, striving to be the best version of yourself. And I truly respect you on many levels. Not just a hard worker, not just a kind guy. It's hard to get the combination of both.
Thank you, dude. I love you, man.
No problem. Your hard work, your kindness, your business savviness has brought you to the Movement Underground. Shout-outs to Mike, Stella. I mean, it's an amazing facility. This is like the cathedral or the LIPI, as I've stated. I want my royalties. But, man, just huge respect for you.
Thanks, dude. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. I mean, I'm very grateful for where I'm at. And this, like you mentioned, this facility and Mike Stella, where would I be without, obviously, this amazing facility and amazing team of like-minded individuals. And I think that's super important, like you and I have spoken in previous interviews about I've said to you, your company is your coffin. You better find the right people that you're willing to die for, or the bad ones and the wrong ones are going to drag you down to the grave. And, I think your company is really important. So I'm very grateful that I've found the right company has found me, and, that has afforded us this interview and amazing relationships across the entire Serra-Longo community and just MMA community as a whole.
I agree, man, especially with the company where you're saying, like, who you surround yourself with, you are. Like, the whole saying, like, you are what you eat. It's like who you surround yourself, you are. 20 years ago, I was with a bunch of dirtbags. Now, 20 years later, surrounded by entrepreneurs, young, smart, sophisticated, ready to tackle the world and live their dreams out. And it's no coincidence that just being in the presence of somebody as talented as you, I take it for granted how great you are at your profession.
I appreciate that.
And because, again, I just think you're cool, dude. I do want to beat your ass in hoops or horse or out, whatever we're at as this stage in life.
You got to set it up.
Yes, 1,000%.
I got a question
you don't got
for
a
you.
Left. I don't know if you got a left.
I got a question for you. I know you're interviewing me, but I got a question for you. And I just thought of it off the rip right now. You ever get imposter syndrome, like working with the people we work with? Because you and I, there's a lot of overlap in terms of, and you've mentioned this on your interviews with Tommy Beethoven DeGennaro. Shout out to Beethoven DeGennaro about, like, you interview the fighters, I treat the fighters. There's a lot of overlap. You even said it before that, we're on the same highway, just different lanes. You ever get that?
I'm pretty sure you're setting me up for an answer that you mentioned. I'm pretty sure this was on the record, not one of those unrecorded Chronic album interviews that never got released. My apologies.
No, there's no setup.
It's Dr. Nick and Ray Longo, who two missed interviews in like hundreds of interviews. But I asked you that.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
I don't know if it was recorded, but I asked you that. And you said, no, because I've made peace with knowing that there's a service and I'm helping them achieve their goals. So it's like, not that I'm like an interview is going to repair a scapula or a hip or something, but if I can just make a fighter's day feel a little better, not like pick at their psyche, like, so tell me about the Conor Khabib beef. Are you going to push this guy at the stage? If I could just make them leave the interview feeling a little better, then it's almost like there's a reciprocity. I hope I said it correctly. So, does that answer? No, not imposter syndrome, but like a connection. Like we're helping each other rise up. Like the tides and the boats and the ship raises
rising tide lifts all ships. Yeah,
exactly.
No, because you know what? Honestly, like the deeper I get in this martial arts journey, like I was thinking about it because I trained last Friday with Ray Longo, right?
Now there could be a point where
And I'm
like
saying
Dana
to
White's like, "Yo, Dr. Nick, I need a." Can you come to my
that's what
house?
I'm saying,
That'd be
dude.
weird.
That would be that 100%. But
And
I'm like,
yo, Ike, you want to come over, man? I'll give you an interview. Just like that would feel weird. I get that.
I'm looking like when I'm looking through the looking glass of like my life in retrospect, and maybe my answer has changed as I've gotten older and the deeper the waters that I've been treading, where I'm like, I'm hitting pads with Ray Longo, and I'm going to Matt Serra Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy to learn under the great Matt Serra. What the fuck is my life?
Good point.
And I say to myself, like I posted on Instagram the other day, like after I hit pads with Ray, and I'm like, and I genuinely feel this way. I'm like, I'm just the guy that's happy to be in the room, and I really mean that. Where like. And we train under the same professors and under the same disciplines, and you kind of like look back and you say to yourself like, what the fuck is my life? Like what? Like and with gratitude though, and it's like it's a really humbling experience. You ever get that?
100%. When it comes to I know everybody sees the interviews and that gets the most attention, but the actual martial arts training, that's where it all started for me. Like the stepping on the mats years ago. And I've been like probably the most inconsistent person. But for like a long time, that's the core. And I've trained at gyms where there's not a UFC champion heading it, where there's not a coach who's coached 4 UFC champions. And it's like, you're right. I was looking at like, oh, Dr. Nick's preparing a UFC fighter, or I'm interviewing a fighter. It's like, yeah, the service. But when it comes to the actual like,
yeah, like the thing that got us, like the person, or not person, but you ever hear the expression like you leave the dance with the person that brought you to the dance? Ever heard that?
Yeah,
like the thing that got us to the dance.
Yes. The actual, because you're a sports guy too. Like,
yeah.
I don't know much about your basketball background, but you're an athlete. And
thank you.
I played some baseball, played some football. We're athletes. And now we're pouring that athleticism into training. And it's funny that you said the imposter syndrome. Like, yeah, after a good training, you're like, wow. Like, it's hard to put into words, as you could tell.
It's hard because you say to yourself, because to your point, I've always looked at myself as an athlete. Basketball was my identity.
I got to jump in. Because it's funny you say this. Yes, you were always peeling the layers back. Matt Serra coached me for the last time I competed, the most recent last time. The last time I competed, Matt Serra coached. I hope I said that correctly. And that was like, what do you call the word? Outer body experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy crap, this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, but that's it's crazy to me because I'm saying to myself, like,
come on, man, we're having a serious conversation.
I know. Because I've always identified myself as an athlete, and like you mentioned, like basketball and like just growing up where that's like your whole identity, and then you get to the point where you take a back seat, and now like I've said this in other interviews, and it's a quote from Israel Adesanya that You know, sometimes you have to be man enough to admit when you're the main character of your story and you're living as the main character of your story. And sometimes you got to be man enough to admit that you are helping someone or you are just a part of someone else's story.
Yes.
And a lot of the time, you and I are being the person that is allowing the other person to live out the main character of their journey, you know? But then when you take it to like the training room and you're just like, oh man, like this is intense, because it's like me being, again, like a white belt in jiu-jitsu and like the cohort of like the strikers that, you know, we have on Strong Island. It's like, oh, you know, but I've always said this and I still will continue to say this. I don't mind being the lower layer of that cohort, because look who you're going up against. You can't help but feel inspired. But like, it gives you that imposter syndrome where you're just like, am I an athlete? I just got my ass kicked. But like, but we're in it. We're in the shit.
Right. I remember the first time I signed up for Sarah's and I saw Aljo just like warming up. I must have looked like a weirdo. Like, I'm like, whoa, that's the guy on the TV. That's the guy on the TV. I think I was saying it out loud. He's like that. You're right. Because it's like one thing if you see him like walking out of MSG, yo, Aljo, what up? And he's like, what's up, dude? It's another thing if you see them like in their temple.
Yeah.
Stretching, no shoes on, no suit on, warming up, relaxed. They're human.
Yeah.
That to me is, that feels surreal. Outer body. Good point. Because I was just thinking about the service, the job, interviews. How would you sum it up? Recovery? Rehab?
Yeah. Recovery, performance, strength and conditioning, all the service, like you
Better
said.
in their performance.
But there's not a single, like, without any exaggeration, there's not a single training session that I don't get out.
None of your training has been on social media. How crazy is that? You and
Mike has been saying that. Mike has been.
But it's the thing we love.
Mike has been politely bullying me in the sense of, and I hope he watches this. He's gonna crack up laughing. Mike has been politely bullying me, saying, "How you gonna call yourself the fight doctor, but you don't post your training?"
Does he train?
Not yet.
We gotta get him on the mat.
We're getting him there.
Mike, you'll understand.
I think he'll fall in love with jiu-jitsu more than anything else.
It's sacred.
He did some private training with Charlie the Cannibal Campbell.
Okay, so he's
done a little bit of striking, but I think Mike would really fall in love with the jiu-jitsu. I really do.
I want to meet this guy. It's like it's starting to build up like the Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, you guys haven't met yet.
No, very interesting. Very interesting. Like I'm trying to be like, who the hell would hire this crazy? No. But I'm like,
I ask myself the same thing every day, dude.
I'm a big believer that it's like, if he's invested in you, then it's like, I'm going to immediately love this guy.
I appreciate that.
Like, I'm very excited to meet him on the mats. No, but I think Sarah's been here.
Yes, he has.
Let's come on.
Yes, he has.
So Matt's been in his domain. Now Mike's got to go to Matt's domain.
Yeah. Dude, that's again, that was a humbling experience.
I'll do the video if you guys want to do like the warm up. Like, here's the Americana.
That'll be sick.
Yeah.
That'll be sick. Mike, it's up to you. Ball's in your court, baby.
And I'm sorry if I don't know this. Are there Warrior Garden at Warrior Garden? Are there Warrior Garden gis?
Coming soon. I mean, I got the Warrior Garden gi.
When it comes in, Mike's got to go.
There's been a few like exclusives that I've done like a small sample order, but like they're coming soon. Might have to do a pre-order.
Can you tell us what colors?
Black, just
black with the white.
Black
now,
with
do
the
we have
white.
the big WG on the back?
Big Warrior Garden Fight Club on the back.
Any sick like sword thing?
Yeah,
like,
the swords down the side.
No,
You've seen it.
You're joking,
you've
right?
You've seen it.
No, I haven't.
You've definitely seen it on
Then
social
maybe this
media.
is like one of those things that like
It's
my
like
brain
another
took
out-of-body
My
experience.
brain took a photo of it. I hacked your cloud. You know, there really is a sword?
Two swords on the side. The whole vision behind it was like,
You
what's
put
a
it on
warrior?
social?
Yeah.
Okay, then I've definitely seen
Like,
it.
what's a warrior without a sword at his side? I'll show you a picture of it.
Okay.
Dude,
Shout outs to, while you find it, shout outs to Ricky Stam. He's joined the Garden, correct?
Yeah, Ricky's always been a part of the Garden.
Love Ricky. And Ricky, let me clarify. When I said I smell a podcast coming, I meant like you start a podcast.
About the Roman Empire.
Yeah, like what the hell am
Dude,
I going
how
to
do you-
talk to you about the
How do you not?
Roman Empire? I'm sorry, Ricky. I know about as much as shown in Ridley Scott's Gladiators movies.
Yeah, you've seen that before. with the swords down the side.
Okay, I've
WG.
definitely seen you
with the
post
American
with it.
flag, and then the other side has a triangle.
Dope.
Soon come.
Dope. So we got to get Mr. Stella in a Warrior Garden gi. And does he rep it? Does he?
Not yet. Come
on, Mike.
I've been slacking on the WG like content and like the releases and stuff
You're
like
busy,
that.
man. Dude, I don't know how you balance it all.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, like I'm trying to. It's like I feel like I'm somewhere in between figuring it all out and knowing nothing at all.
Huh.
Because there's so much that like I want to apply myself to, but I'm also a perfectionist, so it becomes ultimately like mental gymnastics to sift through what the next task to accomplish is. And I try to really make myself available for everybody, which I'm slowly starting to learn that I can't always do, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to be able to fill your own cup, and it's been quite a bit of change since the last time we spoke last September.
So, yeah, I just wanted to when you were saying the insanity versus the genius, like walking the thin line, do you feel like you haven't figured it out yet, but yet things continue to get bigger and brighter?
I don't
And
feel
you're
like I
like-
figured anything out yet, dude.
Exactly, but yet it's like, look at us. Since we last spoke, I've knocked down a wall or two. You've knocked down a couple of villages, chopping that wood, carrying that water, and yet you don't feel like the task is done.
Will we ever?
I don't know. I learned about myself talking with you, because it's like you put the mirror in the face. Like, are you hearing yourself?
My girlfriend Eileen and I have discussed this recently.
Okay.
And I've said like, and it was kind of like a rude awakening for me, like kind of just talking about it. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be the guy that's happy with good enough. And it has nothing to it's not anything to say about our relationship, has nothing to say about like career or like people in my life, in terms of like personal accomplishment and in terms of being able to be of service for others and being able to help the masses and build something that's larger than myself. And I think that's inherent as men, or inherent as just people in general. Like, we want this fleeting thought or notion, this fleeting notion of legacy, whether we're willing to admit it or not. And it's this fleeting concept and this fleeting notion of legacy, of trying to build something greater than yourself for your kids, for your kids' kids, to be remembered, to be able to say like, hey, I made a difference in someone else's life. And I think about that because I think of, maybe this is a stupid example, maybe it's not. I think about all the pictures that, for example, the WG has been in. Pictures that I'll never see. And it's like, I won't be there, but like Warrior Garden will. Or like, for example, another example of that, as silly as it may be, Matt Frivola carried his son home wearing a Warrior Garden shirt. Like, that's the first picture of the two of them out of the hospital.
Wow.
And he's wearing a WG on the back of his shirt.
Whoa.
Like, you think about stuff like that. Like, that's going to be a photo that's going to be passed down for generations. And it sounds silly, I'm sure. But it's like, and I'm not, this isn't my megalomania speaking or my ego or any sort of narcissism. I'm saying that with the utmost respect and the utmost humble / humility behind it.
You got to look at it as, that's a piece of you, WG.
I identify very heavily with it.
Yeah, you've built it. Sip. The perfect time for the sip with the WG. Have you ever seen Wayne's World? When they're like, we'll never sell out. And they're like eating Doritos. I love Pepsi. And it's like, that sip was perfect. And you have a great sense of humor. That's also why I love you. But
I love you more, dude.
You got to look at it as, that's a piece. The reason why it's going to be, the reason why it's spreading so much is because of you. Like people are wearing it. Subconsciously, they see it. Oh, Dr. Nick.
As stupid as
Not just a cool
this
symbol.
may sound,
You could be a complete douchebag and you have the Nike symbol.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that might hear this and think that I'm being authentic when I say this. I genuinely have never thought of that. Like I've never thought of like
it's a piece of you.
I've never thought of like people are buying this brand or representing this band because of my association with it.
Oh, 100%. It's like how many I haven't heard a good story about Steve Jobs.
Yeah, I've heard that
and
too.
if Apple was made out of anger and ego and spats, Warrior Garden seems like it was made out of a really good. You poured in really good gasoline to that car, and people want to drive it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So don't have any Steve Jobs stories.
Good company surrounds himself with good company. That's why we're here able to have this conversation. I'm very grateful for it. I'm very grateful you come down to...
No problem. I always love the studio. It's easy on me. Just pop in downstairs. Drive to Manhattan. But it's like, this is the hub. This is the LIPI, man. Happy to be in here. So, since you were last in studio, September of last year, yeah. I've been spraying the cologne. Thank you for the cologne. Shout outs everywhere I go, man. You're bringing me back to my single days. Very dangerous stuff. I realize I haven't worn cologne in like a long time. So what's been going on?
Dude, what a journey it's been, man. What a journey it's been. Since the last time, dozens of fight camps later, new facility, new everything, man. I
think you took your first vacation.
Took my first vacation, yeah. Yeah, I think you asked me in that podcast too, like, when are you gonna when are you gonna take a rest?
I think you said never, and an eyeball was falling out.
But that, yeah, so much has changed, and we're exactly where we need to be. It's funny. I do a lot of journaling. We spoke about this before. And I was, again, a large part of my life is ingrained in my relationship with Tommy and like the, Cerro Longo community. But I was having this conversation with Tommy here actually, and we were having a heart to heart. Obviously, Tommy's been going through his own personal stuff, and obviously in the midst of preparing for a fight, he's absolutely locked in. And but enough about Tommy. We're talking about me here. You get your interview next. No, anyway. What we were talking about was I was looking at some of my old journal logs, which I never do. I'm a firm believer that when the page is closed, you don't look back at the last page and you just move on. And that's part of the therapeutic aspect of it. And you just let it out. But I decided to flip through like the early pages of this notebook. And this time last year, around July, August, I had written something really like, dark and personal where I'm like, I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like I'm letting everybody who believes in me down. I can't believe that this is my life. I'm so disappointed in myself and all this stuff. And then at the end of it, and it was the first page of this notebook, and I wrote, and yet I'm exactly where God needs me to be. And now we fast forward a year later, and so much has changed, some for the good, some for the bad, but always, God's plan, like we have said, always chop wood, carry water, and I see it. I see why I felt that then. I see why I needed to go through that state of mind then, and I'm always grateful. There's always gratitude behind, the highs and the lows, but I'm really grateful for where I'm at and the people I have in my life, and just the opportunities that I'm afforded outside of like business and outside of sport. Think about this. How blessed we truly are to be able to choose our suffering. There are some times, like I remember for example when I was studying for my boards, right? And I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is miserable. I hate this. I just want to, and all I could think about was as soon as I pass my boards, I'm going to sign up for Sarah BJJ. I'm going to start working on my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I want to get my blue belt and just like really, really dial in on an aspect of mixed martial arts that I've never done before and learn this new language. And now, again, I got to choose my suffering then, where I'm studying for an exam that I've spent a majority of my life in school for. And now we fast forward, and now what are some of the things that I'm complaining about on my ride home from Sarah's when I'm on the phone with Eileen, and I'm like, oh man, I really wish I got that stripe today. Someone caught me in a Americana, and I'm so disappointed that I let it happen because I knew that it was coming, and I did and he did this one move, but I get to choose my suffering. I get to choose to train. I get to choose to say, oh man, chicken and rice again. Like, this is like eating healthy is so boring. It's like I get to choose my suffering. And there's a lot of times where, again, it's that imposter syndrome or like survivor's remorse where growing up in Brooklyn, like some of my friends that I played basketball at the park who died of a drug overdose, or like people that I know that have taken their own life, like things like that. It's like there's certain suffering in this world that we could choose, and then there's certain suffering in this world that we can't choose. And part of Zen Buddhism, which like we've spoken about that too, is that life is perpetual suffering. That's one of like the eightfold path, one of the key principles of Zen Buddhism, that like understanding that life is suffering. But how grateful it is that we get to wake up, we're healthy. For the most part, our families are healthy. For the most part, we get to choose what we want to do today. Like that's that humility that I feel like I kind of need to look in the mirror and remind myself every day on, that even on our worst of days, we live the life of many on their best.
Well, you remember a couple minutes ago I said, like, we are who we surround ourselves with? Well, we're also, like, what we're surrounded by. Not just people, but, like, look at this beautiful facility you go to every day. Look at the gyms you go to. Look at the people you interact with. My point is, it's like we may be, and Joe Rogan talks about this, you may be too insulated. And he puts himself through that self-suffering, like the cold plunge. And he says his day is only going to get better. So he likes to, like, because we're so, even if you made $45K, $50K, and you have to eat fast food and go to an apartment in America, that's still pretty damn good compared to a lot of regions in the world.
Yeah,
and
for real.
Because we are fortunate, we are even pushing past that and entering worlds that we probably never even thought we would enter years ago. Again, being trained, Ray Longo, Matt Serra. Dude, you're working on pro fighters. Like, if you would have talked to the 15-year-old, 16-year-old Dr. Nick, or Nicky probably at that time, would that person believe where you are today?
Probably no, definitely not, dude. Definitely not.
A doctor?
It's been, I would have never thought, dude. I would have never thought. You
didn't just stop at becoming a doctor. You're doing like really cool stuff as a doctor as well. Your social media presence is like can be studied by like some content creators, and you're a doctor.
Thanks, dude.
And you're working on fighters, but yeah, your social media is incredible.
Thanks, brother.
You're not just an average Joe.
Thank you.
It's like people like you are hard to come by.
I appreciate that.
Shout outs to Mama Nick. No joke, man.
No, seriously, thank you. That's I really appreciate that, dude. It's been like even from a year ago to now, like I look at how much growth there's been mentally, physically, spiritually, and then like when we're peeling back the layers of like 13 years ago, man, like oh my God, I would have never thought that I would have been in the position I'm at now. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still figuring it out. And I'm just very grateful, man. I'm very grateful. I don't take any of this for granted because I know God giveth, God taketh away. So I'm like still, I still feel like ironic enough as it is, I still feel like the Make-A-Wish kid, where it's like at any moment it's just gonna all be gone. So I'm like, I appreciate every single instance of just
my wish or whatever the song. You don't remember the song?
Yes.
Shout outs to ESPN.
It's crazy. 15-year-old Nick.
He'd be like, man, fuck that motherfucker. I don't know why I made you a crackhead.
Yeah, right.
Man, times done changed.
It's like, it's funny that you mentioned that. Sorry, I kind of went to like another dark place there, which this is not. We're not trying to make the
bring on the
there.
darkness, please. Bring on the darkness. After this Superman, bring on the darkness. And I have no problem with the Superman, but I would love to debate people about it because they're okay.
No,
bring
but
on
like,
the darkness.
but like, you brought me to a place that I wasn't ready for with that question because
Likewise with the imposter thing, it was
because
we got each other.
When you think about it, right? Like, you look at Sean Strickland. Again, bringing it back to fighting because it's kind of what we know best. But what did Sean Strickland's corner say to him in the last round of the Adesanya fight? What did he say to him? He said, "Let's finish this round strong. Let's do it for that little kid inside of us. We're fighting for him." And like, you think about that, and it's like, going back to the imposter thing, I feel like a majority of what I do.
He talks a lot about being like
by his own family and
not happy.
Yeah. And you think about that and you're like, maybe everything that I do or what we do is also, maybe there's a little bit of a selfish component, and it's like, I'm still trying to like be the person that I never had as a kid and that I always wished I could be. Like, we always look up to, like, I'm a big Batman fan, right? We've spoken about comic books and superheroes, and you mentioned Superman just now. Like, you look at, why does Batman do what he do? Batman does what he does. Yeah, he's helping fight crime. He's helping, save the city. But selfishly, Batman's fighting for that little kid who lost his parents. That's, when we peel back the layers of it, and that's kind of the same thing that I feel like we do. Like, not to peel back, the layers of your childhood and who you were as a kid, but and your experience growing up. But think about that, right? Like, are we like? There's a small selfishness to it where we're fighting for that little kid who needed us as adults now the most.
Personally, I had my mama Dukes. Like, she's everything to me. She's my best friend, and I believe the same with you. Like, I think we have a huge love for our mamas. We are mama's boys through in and throughout. I was just on the call with her on the way here, and it's like she could just make everything right with just the right words. Like, just incredible. I'm sure that you could speak. We could do a podcast with our moms. We might have to in the future, which would be kind of wild. For me, I heard the saying, like, if you live the dream, you never work a day in your life. And then I started to apply, what happens if you don't quit? And then you see the quotes, Michael B. Jordan is, so many people quit the week before they're about to get a call. Where you see Donald Trump did the don't quit. He's seen so many great, brilliant people quit. Just don't quit. Like, what happens if we just keep going? What happens if you just keep waking up and applying yourself and showing up? And it's like, for me, it's like, don't quit. That little kid was a douchebag. No, I mean, that little kid saw SportsCenter, and it was like, oh, Stuart Scott, Scott Van Pelt, John Anderson. Like, why can't I be there? As Biggie said, N-words bleed just like us. Like, that humanizes everything. Like, no offense to Dana White or Conor McGregor or Floyd Mayweather or anybody super famous. Like, again, takes some time, but when I see a UFC champion warming up on the mat, and after you breathe it in, digest, and you're like, he's the same like me. It's like, why can't I do it? So, yeah, just not quitting and just trying to get the dream, man, of just showing, like, don't quit is really, like, I don't know. I don't know how you got it. I got it from my mama.
I mean, there's always, regardless of who your company is, even now, right? I feel like there's always the person that's underneath it all. Because who you are, like with your family, with your friends, with your wife, with your kids, with your mom, with yourself, there's what makes us, I would say, good people, right? I hope that's not arrogant to say, but what makes us good people is the consistency of that character. But the caveat behind that is they're still different people. They're still different versions of the same person. And what I was saying before was like me as a kid, right? Yes, I had my mom, and I'm very grateful for, you know, her guidance and her inspiration, and seeing, you know, her hard work and being like, oh, I can't fucking fail. I can't quit. You know what I mean? After everything she's been through, fighting for her health and like dealing with, you know,
we're wusses compared to our parents.
But like you think about that, and then there's also yourself and your identity as well, associated with like who you are and the stuff that the inner turmoils that you deal with as well. We could take inspiration, but like as we get older and become adults, yeah, maybe it is the inspiration from family. I mean, I can't speak on behalf of like, you know, the
keep going, get there. I feel like
no,
you're,
but I'm saying
in the
I can't.
Ballpark. Get
no,
there,
but I'm
please.
saying I can't speak on the paternal side of things, because like that side of things, I saw everything I didn't want to be, you know, and that made me part of who I am as well. But like that's what I mean when I say like, hey, you know, being the person and filling that void that wasn't there, and trying to be that as an adult. And be that for my future kids. And the other, like I said, there's a little bit of a selfish component to it. There's a little bit of a selfish component to it that I'm emotionally intelligent enough to recognize, like, dude, I want to create this fucking empire. I want Fight Doctor Physical Therapy. I want Warrior Garden to just blow up. But again, what humbles me is that, yeah, there's a, like, I'll be man enough to admit it. Like, there's a small aspect of that where it's just like, I want to do this, I want to do all of this stuff, I want to whatever. Small
Somebody
aspect
would say
of that.
There's chips on our shoulder.
100%.
Why do we want to
But my main
take
purpose,
over our spaces, our fields?
but dude, my main purpose has always been, like I said before, like I'll say now, and like I will consistently say, it's all in the image of God. It's all God's plan and God's purpose. My whole soul mission, like I have said, will say, and we'll say now and we'll continue to say, is that I feel as though my sole purpose is to be of service to other people. That's very deeply rooted in my identity. So when I treat a patient, if I sponsor an athlete, whether it's through Warrior Garden or Fight Doctor Physical Therapy at the Movement Underground, whether it's, you know, the things that you see on social media and the things you see behind a camera, or the things that you don't see that's not filmed, it's all for the higher, greater good, and trying to be of service to others and fulfill and speak the words of God and speak the message and of what God needs me to be.
Just be careful, because we're only human. We can only be 99%. Only God is 100.
That's right.
You're a perfectionist. I try my best. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect. Literally. This sign is crooked. I don't know if you guys can see that. My point is, you're doing it, man. And there's a lot of jealousy. And they're going to come at you. They're going to try to pick at your zen. Like, could be people closest to you who are trying to pick at your zen. Because they don't have what you have, which is control, discipline, motivation, goals, purpose, and they're jealous of that. And I've run into that with extremely close family members. And I have to step back. And again, Mama Feldman is always like, because I always want to go to war in the confrontation, because I'm a 1 to a 10. I'm like, I'll be like, hey, Nick, my knee's sore. You're like, okay, that sounds good, man. I'll see you tomorrow. And then like I'll be the person who's like, I said my fucking knee is sore, and it's like, that's not good either. And I'm learning, and I'm sure you are leaps and bounds ahead of me. Like,
I wouldn't say that.
At communication, I'm sure of like getting things done, being direct, being stern, being respectful, not being pussyfooting, not being an asshole.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that can disagree with all of that.
But I'm sure, I think 5 is the perfect number.
Yeah.
Like being the 1 is like, hey man, I need help. Hey motherfucker, I said I need help.
It's
Not
funny.
good
It's
either.
funny that you mentioned that. It's funny that you mentioned like people are gonna test your zen. I remember you just unlocked a memory. When I was in grad school,
Memory unlocked.
like the Xbox. Remember the old like accomplishments on Xbox?
Only from my friend who's like I think he competes in Halo.
That's impressive.
He will whoop anybody.
100%. I sucked at Halo. The memory that was unlocked. When I was in grad
Slayer. I'm sorry.
when I was in grad school, I had we spoke about like my first time going to Law MMA, Longo's MMA. I remember when I was in grad school, the day before, we went on a Sunday. The day before, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch Adesanya versus Pereira 2, I believe. But a group of us in grad school.
UFC 287. That was
Madison Square Garden, I think.
no. It was so. Then it was the first one. UFC 280.
Really?
MSG.
Whichever one it was.
Who won?
Oh, Pereira won. Yeah, so it was the second one.
First one. I'm like
No. I'm sorry. Adesanya won. It was the second one.
second one. 287. I was there.
Perfect memory, this guy. He's talking about my memory.
Name any number between 200 and 300. Any number.
226.
Oh, that's easy. That's DC Stipe, July 6, 2018. Paulo Costa was on that card. Mike Perry versus Paul Felder. Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't remember the last time we talked.
So, anyway, the long and short of it was I remember, this goes back to the imposter syndrome, right? I remember going out and like saying to some of my friends, like, yo, I'm going to go to Ray Longo's gym tomorrow. Like, you know, because my good friend Anthony Gallo, shout out Anthony Gallo, really appreciate you for everything that you have done for me and you continuously do for me. I love you to bits. You know, wanted to introduce me to Ray. And he's like, oh, I'm going to take you to Longo's gym. I was like, dude, oh, no. Like, I'm like, this guy, like, trains professional world champions. Like, who the fuck am I, right? And I remember telling this to my friends. I'm like, I'm going to Ray Longo's gym tomorrow. And they were like, I remember this one kid in particular had said to me, he was like, oh, Ray Longo, same thing I felt, right? And he was like, Ray Longo trains world champions. What the fuck does he want with you? And that stuck with me and that stung. He's like, nothing's going to come of it. He's like, you're getting your hopes up for nothing. And maybe it was jealousy, maybe whatever it was. I felt that and I believed it already and that sucked. But then we fast forward and I remember going to the gym, training, and then Monday you get to class. Oh, how'd it go? It's like, oh, it was amazing. Like, Ray is awesome. I met all these cool guys. I really feel, no bullshit. I really feel like I found like where I belong. And I remember this kid who was my lab partner. He said to me, he goes, you know, you really don't deserve the opportunities that you have. And that cut me
Dead
so
serious?
deep.
What's the context? How does that just
That was
casually-
what was, for anybody that was there, the close friends that I still have from grad school, for anybody who was there, that's exactly how it fucking went. And I'm like, you really feel that way? He's like, what? Like, why you? And I'm like, damn, that really hurt. That really fucking hurt, because I'm like, why not me? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not? And that, like, you know, you ever see the fucking thing from The Bear, where it's like, if you've watched The Bear on Hulu, where Carmine is going, or Carmi's going, it's like, you know, and that hurt, you know. It was like, now you know what? Fuck you. Watch this. And I'm like, and I remember that, and that shit stung. And I really fucking felt that shit. And I'm like, and I promised myself, like, from that moment, like, I mean, I promised that myself this a long time ago, but like, I'm not gonna fuck this up. I'm not gonna fuck up this opportunity. And I remember, and again, I'm trauma dumping. I'm sorry, but I remember it's crazy how, like, life aligns with where you're supposed to be. I remember having first moved to Long Island in 22, and
you were crazy. I remember you were doing these trips to CI.
Yeah, well,
Beast.
From Brooklyn to Central Islip for
Beast. People would have quit on your path a long time ago.
My first 2 years of PT school, I was traveling from Brooklyn to Central Islip every day. An hour and some change to get there, 2 hours to get home, if not more. And ironically enough, the way that I studied was that I would record myself speaking into a microphone, and I uploaded it to Spotify, and I would listen to this podcast of me reading my notes. It's still on there. You can check it out. It's called the DPT School Study Guide, and it's just me reading anatomy, physiology, all of my notes. It's wild stuff. But I remember, and we had spoken about this, when I first moved out here, whether it was just, you know, the move, the change, the whatever, I was getting these, like, and again, I'm sorry to trauma dump, but if there's anybody out there that I could help or I could save or whatever by explaining, like, what I went through and what I was experiencing, and maybe you're going through the same thing and you don't want to talk about it.
That person was jealous, by the way,
like,
the lab partner.
I remember, dude. I remember when I first moved out here, I was getting these, like, visceral panic attacks where I physically did not have control over my body, and I was, like, seizing on the fucking floor. And I don't know why. I was getting these, like, really bad negative sweeps of anxiety.
You didn't want to fuck it up.
And I was like, I remember just being out here, and I'm like, school, like, it was right at the precipice. Like, 2022 was the year before graduation. It was like, I'm going into my final year. I got these clinical rotations, and I'm like, I was working, and it was like a lot. It was a lot. I was, like, barely sleeping, and it just manifested in this physical way where I'm like, I just.
You probably would have had a heart attack if you were 50 something.
Yeah, maybe,
like that
maybe.
Type of,
like, and I'm not acting like I'm a victim by any stretch of the imagination.
But you put a lot on your plate, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself.
And I remember, dude.
I'm telling you.
I remember the only thing, this is no bullshit. I know this is going to sound like, oh yeah, hindsight 2020. You're just saying that because where you're at now. I remember the only thing that would, like, give me any sort of peace or comfort or just something I would look forward to was, like, Saturday night, UFC fights, and watching UFC, MMA, like, highlights. John Jones, every single fight. Mike Tyson, just, like, full compilations, like, highlight reels.
Grabbed your attention.
And that was the only thing that just, like, brought me peace. In the midst of all the chaos, it was more chaos of combat sports that brought me peace. So, like, people sometimes might assume that I have, it's usually one end of the spectrum or the other, where people think, like, oh, it's like a crazy job that I have, or it's like a really chill and relaxed job. And it's like, you know, somewhere in between. But, like, being here, I know some people hate their job. Being here brings me peace. You know, I went on vacation, and it was by, like, the 6th out of the 7th day where I said to Eileen, I was like, she's like, oh, you having a good time? I'm like, yeah, but I kind of miss work a little bit. Yeah. And she's like, I'm going to fucking strangle you in this pool, that if you do not relax and put your phone away and just enjoy yourself for the last 2 days. But that's, like, this is like part of, like, you know, when McGregor quoted Van Gogh, where he's like, I've committed myself to my art, and if I've lost myself in the process, then, like, so be it. Like, or some whatever the quote was. You probably know better than I do with your memory.
I thought he was saying, paint the blood of the victims that... No, I'm just kidding.
But it's like, I like
Yeah,
this brings me
I've
peace,
lost
dude.
myself, and I'm obsessed. Like,
Yeah.
That purest form of McGregor, now he's dancing with the devil completely.
That's bad.
And it's like, I want... It's funny that, like, I do want people to study it. Because 2015, the year of the Aldo, versus 2025 couldn't be polar opposite people. But, yeah, sorry to jump in there.
No, of course. But like this shit really does bring me peace, man. And I'm like,
This is what Dana White says. He's like, I hate vacation. He goes, I want to sleep less. He's like, I want to get back to work. Like, he showed his office. His office has everything.
I saw. Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
saw
you've
that.
seen it. Like, to just stay in that zone. Like, this is where you enter this and something flips. You do whatever your routine is prior to walking in here, but as soon as you walk in, it's like you've entered the basketball court, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
And the same thing when you step through that Sarah door, like that thing is ready to break at any minute now. But when you walk in and you hope it doesn't break behind you and you tap your name on the sign-in and done, and you see that check mark, it's like, I've entered the matrix. And it's so beautiful that Sarah's doesn't have service. It's almost like perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I know this is the movement underground. That's like literally underground. Like, there's no service there. And it's a beautiful place to disappear in many ways. Physically, you don't think about an email, somebody you got to talk to directly. And it's, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, what am I going to do? Oh, God, let me just get my dopamine from eating fast food. And that's going to feel good. And then I'll send it. No. All your problems can be solved when you step in the door of like a martial arts gym, because Mark Zuckerberg has said this, and he was a college athlete. Make fun of Rowan all you want, but he was a college athlete for Harvard, and he said in his professional life, 20s, 30s, now 40s, like he was always going for long runs to get that meditative state. But then he said he got so good at running that he was still thinking of daily tasks and chores while he's out there running. So he said he started jiu-jitsu. Because you can't think about a government in Taiwan suing you for like a censorship while you're being choked out. So it's like, I didn't know it when I first entered jiu-jitsu, like that. It did so much for me physically, but also the mental side. The conversations, the people you meet on the mat after you just tried to, I know this is exaggeration, kill each other, break their limb. It's a beautiful family and community. Nobody would do that.
I want to swing it back to a quote that I mentioned the first and second times I was on there.
It does so much for the human animal.
100%. I want to bring it back to a quote that I originally
That's been
said.
bothering me for like an hour.
Perfectly fine. Miyamoto Musashi, Book of Five Rings.
Can you, okay, I'm like so OCD. You talk about your perfection. I have 5 versions of it in my freaking Amazon cart.
I'll send you
Which
the
one is the official one?
I'll send you the one that I read. The one, I quoted this before. I said, you must commit yourself to constant study in order to develop the perfection in your soul evident in the demeanor of your spirit.
Break it down.
And what that, to me, like what I've said before and what it historically has meant for me is that you commit yourself to the study, you commit yourself to this craft so that you can, not necessarily because it's going to sharpen your sword, which it will sharpen your sword, but it's also the confidence that you build in cultivating this craft that is allow it to be evident in the demeanor of your spirit.
So it's not just for the social, it's at your actual being.
It's within your actual being, and also allowing yourself to blossom into being him, so to speak.
Huh. Imagine Miyamoto wrote about that. 'Twas I am him.
No, but think about that, right? And it's also like one of my favorite verses in the Bible that I have. I'm going to get this tattooed on me. I wear it on my jelly bracelet when I'm very often. It's very rare that I wear the metal. But Joshua 1:9, And the context of Joshua.
You put that in your Instagram, no?
I say it all the time. It's always on Instagram because I truly believe it.
Drop your Instagram.
At dr.nicholas Giliberti.
Do you have a YouTube page?
No, not yet.
This could be. We
Could
could
be.
do a collab
I don't think
on
we
YouTube.
can collab on YouTube.
But they should.
They should make it like that. But Joshua 1:9, because again, we started it by talking about imposter syndrome, and that's kind of the theme of this, I guess, episode, so to speak. Where
Look where we are.
when you think about like, I'll be honest with you, like
Started at the top, now we're underground.
yeah, where some of the changes also, and again, not to be too preachy, but this is me, this is who I am, right? I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been reading scripture. I've been reading the Bible. I'm almost done with it, but I really am trying to like digest it and like do all of the things that will allow me to understand it best. So I always quote Joshua 1:9 in my Instagram. I wear it on the wrist. And it's funny enough, actually, one of my patients who shall remain nameless, I told him it, and I told him the context that surrounded it and like why it was so meaningful to me because he saw it on my wrist. And he's like, oh, what does that mean? And I explained it to him, and I was like, this is what it means to me, and this is the context that surrounds it. And he got it tattooed on him.
You had the band on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he had it tattooed on him like a week later. And he's like, you have no idea like where I was, like what place I was. He goes, he's like, that quote meant a lot to me. So Joshua 1:9, I know I'm building anticipation, is I'm going to say the context behind it before I actually quote it. The context behind it in the book of Joshua is now Moses has now passed away. Moses was the leader of the people. Exodus is where they're talking about how he's leading the people out of Egypt, and he, that's where he parts the Red Sea, and he is, he's the 10 Commandments, all of these things. Moses was the chosen, and the 10 Commandments and the religion up until that point is the law of Moses, right? So now Moses passes away, and now it's Joshua's turn. And God calls to Joshua, and he says, now it's your time. Lead these people. And Joshua, much like Moses in Exodus, he goes, me? Why me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what out of all these people, I'm not, and this is the same thing that pretty much Moses says to him, which is, I'm not a king. I'm nobody. I'm just Josh. You know what I mean? Like, and God says to him, have I not commanded you? Do not be discouraged. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you everywhere you go. And the way I read it, the way I interpreted that is not in the sense of like, when you think of like a father talking to his son saying, hey, didn't I tell you to take out the fucking trash? I interpret in the sense of like, are you questioning my judgment? Have I not commanded you? Don't worry. I'm with you every step of the way. And so for me, I've thought about that time and time again where the imposter syndrome, this is where we're rounding the bases, and it all comes really back to the higher purpose, I guess. It's funny how it all worked out, but when I think about it, I'm like, it's like for a long time, when it came to who I am, like we said, like you kind of fake it till you make it. Like, yeah, dude, like I worked hard for this and all this, but there's always that doubt. There's always that shadow of doubt of like, this could all be gone in a second. You're a loser. You don't deserve your opportunities. There's that, that negative voice in the back of your head. But then you remember and you're like, the opportunities that you've been placed in, good or bad, right? Good or bad. The fruits of your hard work or the shadows of your defeat. And you're like, why? Like, why me? Right? Both ways, good and bad. Why me? And that's where the Joshua 1:9 rings true to me, where it's like, have I not commanded you? Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. I'm with you every step of the way. So now I'm kind of slowly gravitating towards accepting that more in my day-to-day of just being like, It's God's plan. It's never ours.
Yep. I've started to stop thinking like when I apply for a job, like, all right, when I get this job, all my problems will be solved when I get the job. I did a great interview. We made it to the third round. They wanted me to come into the office. Okay, how much money? And when I get the money, then I could get the Corvette. And it never happens. And it's like I've stopped. What's the saying? Like, when you plan, God laughs. It's like I never understood that until like I kept trying to like what confused. Like if something didn't happen, like what? And it's like, okay, that wasn't happening. Maybe the manager and I would have gotten to a fist fight. Maybe me and a coworker, like I would have drove into them at the park. I know this makes me sound like I'm a vindictive person, but maybe it didn't work out for a reason.
You ever heard the quote? I'm dropping quote bombs left and right. But you ever heard the quote, what punishments of God are not gifts? I mean, you could simmer on that for a little bit. Like, it's the truth. Like, if you think about it, what punishments of God are not gifts? You know, we spoke about last time, like the gift of the enemy in Zen Buddhism, like things that you would have not otherwise realized if not for hardship and trauma.
Yeah.
There's good and bad. Yin and yang. That's what makes the yin and yang so beautiful, right? Just shameless plug on the side of the hat. That's what makes, the yin and yang so beautiful. That's what makes this warrior journey, this warrior mentality, this spirituality journey that's so heavily ingrained in this community. And it's crazy, right?
And there's no coincidence why we are involved in the martial arts, the fight world. Fighters are super sensitive. And I'll speak for myself. I hear everything. I may not respond to everything. Like I kind of just be the kid who's like playing with the toys. Like even as an adult, just like but we hear everything. Like that lab partner, whatever, the douchebag, you'll never forget.
No.
And I'll never forget.
No.
Like the crazy things people said to me. And it's like, were you an angry teenager?
Yeah. I think
I was viciously angry. Sheetrock and me was the UFC 300 main event.
And look at where you are now, dude. You've channeled it into something constructive. But that's part of the fire that's in you that allows you.
It is a fire
to bloom into such a protector, right? To bloom into someone that's an advocate for the people that are around him, that affords you the opportunity of, I will say, like not taking no for an answer and continuously applying yourself to things that you're passionate about, win, lose, or draw.
I couldn't tell if you're speaking about me or about yourself.
I'm talking about you.
That's what my point is. Like, you have a fire as well.
Thank you.
It's controlling the fire. I mean, so basically what I'm trying to get out, and you'll probably put it in better phrasing, but what's advice you would give to somebody who is trying to control the fire? Maybe a 17, 20-year-old, and I figured it out in my 20s. You figured it out in your 20s. But for me, like, teenage, like, it was to, like, get out of high school, whereas, like, people, it just wasn't a good environment to blossom. But again, it was part of the plan. And then after high school was just has been a beautiful experience ever since. And I can't say like, oh, wake up, fast forward 4 years. Like, what if you're a 14-year-old and you're waking up in hell every day? Whether it's your parents fighting, whether you don't even have parents to fight in front of, whether it's like you're overweight, you're not happy, whether it's you have a health issue. Like, what advice would you give? And then I'll give what I can give and some background, but yeah, throw the ball to you.
I had this conversation with somebody a few years ago when I was like at some of my lowest points. Again, not to trauma dump, and I'm sorry.
I'm asking for it because I'm going to trauma dump.
this isn't for clicks. This isn't for like, bullshit. This isn't lip service. Like, there were some rough times growing up, and there were some rough times, like, especially during COVID, like not knowing which end is up. There were some times where I struggled with, the idea of whether or not I wanted to be on this earth, and in those conversations that I've had with people, I'm like, I said, it's crazy just to fast forward where we are now. And I said during those times, and this would be the advice I would give. I'm like caught in this rut where I feel like every day I wake up and my job is to go to this big slab of marble. And every day I got to chip at the marble and I walk away. And I got to chip at the marble and I got to walk away. And it's reached a point where it's been like years and I'm not looking at anything. I'm not seeing anything. I'm still looking at this big fucking slab of marble and nothing is coming of it. Like, what's coming of all this hard work? Nothing. I'm still looking at this fucking slab of marble. And I guess the one thing that's keeping me going, which is what I said in this conversation many, many years ago, and what I guess I'll say now as well, is like, but I guess the thing that's keeping me going is that one day it won't be. And I got to just keep chipping. And as rough and as much as it sucks that I'm looking at what feels like a failure of just this big slab of marble not manifesting into anything, maybe one day it'll turn into a David. Maybe one day, like Michelangelo's David, the marble sculpture, like maybe one day it'll turn into something beautiful, something unique, something that is mine, that I've created and I've built. And while I don't think I'm staring at a David just yet, and I don't think I ever will, I'm in a much better place accepting and appreciating the work that's going into chipping at that marble. And Kobe had said it. We've spoken about Kobe. Kobe says, like, you can't... Actually, no, it wasn't Kobe that said... He said something like this, but it wasn't Kobe that said this. It was actually Coach John Calipari, who's my favorite college basketball coach. I was a huge Kentucky fan, primarily because of Cal. Still am. Sucks that he's at Arkansas now. I believe at Arkansas. But he's like, the reward of hard work is great, but the reward can't be enough. The hard work is what needs to be enough. You need to fall in love with the process of that hard work. And I guess
exactly what Nick Saban said.
And I guess what I would say, I'm being long-winded, and that's kind of part of my personality that I have to like romanticize everything. Would be, it might suck now, and it does, and that's okay.
This is the fun.
But this is the fun.
Kobe said that. You mentioned Kobe. Kobe literally said that. They asked him after, what did he have, 50 or 60 that last game? Something
His last game he got, I think, 61 points.
And they asked him what was the best part? The championships, staying with one team for 2 decades, and he said the journey. And I think he just said with one word, but if he had more time, if he was on Joe Rogan, God rest his soul, if he's on Joe Rogan, I'm sure he would just talk about those nights with injuries, playing through those injuries, and just loving the grind, embracing the grind. I think that's a slogan that applies to Saban, Calipari, Kobe. And there's a sales book that I tried reading. But one of the things said, reward the effort. Don't reward the result. And I think that applies here. So, yeah, man. The vacation that you took, that was a reward of the effort. It may not be that you can slip away to Hawaii and there's Warrior Garden is sponsor of the UFC, and you're just like tuning out. You and Elon Musk on the beach drinking a Mai Tai, doing Muay Thai in Hawaii. This is the enjoyment where we are right now. It's like this camera will get sharper. These mics will get clearer. I don't know. Your outfit's pretty tight. I don't know what adjustments we can make. Whatever the more expensive watch, things are going to happen, and we just have to enjoy it while it's happening. Like we have to be happy at our core, because if you're like, when I get the Corvette, I'll be happy. When I get the wife, I'll be happy. When I get the house, I'll be happy. Never, ever happy. And it sounds cheesy, but it is true. It is true. Like, you ever hear the saying, you got to love yourself? And it's so true with girls. Like, you can't love somebody else until you love yourself. And it's like, I didn't get to sniff a girl till started losing weight, getting confident, feeling good. I was so happy with the Echo, South Pole, Sean John, probably shouldn't drop Sean John, Rockaware era, where it was the big baggy clothes, because I was a big tubby boy. And it's like, I wasn't confident, but I portrayed a joker. And that was a mask. That was an alter ego, to be the jokester, to like, hey, don't look at me. I'm funny, but don't look at me. But it all started with martial arts, gaining that confidence. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to be a blue belt. I can't wait to fight. But it was all part of the process. I can't wait to not just interview a amateur fighter. First gym like 15 years ago for like a student project at community college. Like, I give the same amount of effort, that interview, to that fighter at a local gym 15 years ago, to now talking to like whoever. And it's, yeah, just enjoy the journey. I can't keep saying like, man, I'll be happy when I have my New York studio. I'll be happy when that's it. Just
you mentioned a quote
you
about you can't love others until you love yourself.
Yep. I think that was Tupac.
I'm going to add to that quote. I don't know who said it. I'd love to give due credit. And I think that you'll appreciate this, where you can only meet people at the depth of which you've met yourself. And I guess, the more you think about that, and it's like, how can you really understand the complexities of your wife, your mom, your dad? A lot of times, like, we think about, like, for example, those turning point moments in my career, in my life, where we spoke about that one teacher I'll never forget that said, you're going to amount to nothing because all you think about are sports. And then my lab partner in grad school saying, you don't deserve these opportunities. And it's like, I could sit here and I could say those people were douchebags and they were assholes, and you had no business saying that to somebody who was only trying their best.
Right, that's easy to say that.
But at the same time, the humility and the depth of which I've now learned about myself through scripture, through therapy, through conversations with like-minded individuals and people who don't have the same mindset as well, and having challenging perspectives, and also having people around me that are brave enough to say, Nick, you're being a fucking asshole and you need to reevaluate yourself. You can understand things contextually a little bit better. And I feel like with understanding yourself at a deeper level, it makes those relationships deeper. It allows you to love deeper. It allows you to sift through the bullshit better. And you can't understand people until you can only understand people at the depth that you've understood yourself.
Right. It's true. Both high and low.
Correct.
Well said. Everything you say is well said. College boy. That's the only jab I could take at you.
It's all right. There's a lot worse you could say.
College boy with your books and your knowledge, thinking you're all big and bad and shit. I have a ridiculous personality. Sense of humor. And it's coming out the later we go. I appreciate you for opening the spot.
Of course. I appreciate you. It's funny because all of the self-reflection, all of like the depth of like these, whatever, thought-provoking questions, so to speak, did not come from college, ironically enough. Came from reading and talking to people. The old way of education and like learning, having mistakes. Like life is too short to make your own mistakes. Learning from other people's mistakes.
Right.
You could learn from the people that inspire you. You could learn just as much from the people that uninspire you and the reasons what you can't stand.
I like to make the mistakes my own. My whole thing is like, don't make the same mistake twice. But, yeah. I think if you lived your life by that, don't make the same mistake twice, you could be a millionaire.
Yeah. Buy in Bitcoin early.
All right. We're on the beach. What car do you want? What's your retirement car?
My retirement car. It's a great question. I've always loved the Bronco. Big fan of the Bronco. It's not a dream car. But I would say maybe a Ford Bronco. I always wanted, what I always wanted? It's so basic. I've always loved, especially from that Transformers movie with Shia LaBeouf, the Camaro, with the yellow Camaro with the racing stripes and the Transformers logo on the front. That's a nice dream car. But I don't need a car to make me happy. Possessions, I'm not trying to be like deep and like fucking lame and like being like, oh, look at him, look at how deep he is. Look at these deep questions.
Choir boy.
Like, exactly. Like, I like being on the. If you tell
Give me a fucking Dodge Viper.
Dude, you tell me you tell me being on the beach. We're on the beach. We're 65. Me and you just chilling, having a drink. I feel like that's enough. Right? We just spoke about being in the moment and like all we have is right now. That's enough. I'm alive at 65. That's great. I don't know. I don't know what tomorrow brings. Right?
Exactly. Okay. Final thing. You got to start a YouTube page. Superman. Did you see it? Did you like it?
Not yet. Haven't seen it yet.
So what are the opinions you're hearing? And what have you gathered?
It is very polarizing. I'm hearing some people saying it is the best Superman movie. I'm seeing, and it was phenomenal. It was so comically accurate. And then some people are saying it's absolute dog shit and it's the worst Superman movie out of all of them. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it and see for myself. But it looks. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but it looks corny to me.
Did you like Man of Steel?
Yeah, I thought Man of Steel was great.
I feel like we would relate where we like... do you know Kevin Smith, Silent Bob?
Yeah.
He broke it down beautifully. After I watched like the 5-minute reviews, I actually went down his rabbit hole where he has like an 80-minute podcast breaking it down. He said that the Zack Snyder, the Christopher Nolan superheroes, they are superheroes in real worlds. Right? If the Dark Knight got military equipment, trained at the Movement Underground, that's that Batman, the real Batman. And Man of Steel, he was an alien in the real world. This is escapism, to steal his word. It's escapism. There's a part where Superman saves a gerbil or a chipmunk or a squirrel. Henry Cavill's not doing that. Christian Bale's not doing that. I could say, yeah, it's for kids, it's corny, but it's escapism. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy director.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah. You trust me, right?
Of course.
I can't stand the people who are like, F Zack Snyder's Superman or F James Gunn's Superman. It's like they can coexist. It's like one could be your cup of tea, and mine is the Man of Steel. I like the angry, inner conflicted Superman. But this guy, there's different issues.
It's good in different ways.
Yeah, if that's your dessert, like if you like lemon pie, God bless you. Like, give me the tiramisu, give me the freaking cheesecake, like, give me the ice cream. Keep your lemon pie. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, it does. It's people also forget a part of any sort of cinema or any sort of cinema is the willing suspension of disbelief.
Meaning?
A willing suspension of disbelief is a concept in theater where you are suspending your reality and accepting that it is for play or for show. And that's a concept and part of the artistic process where, for example, right, if we're watching The Simpsons and Homer Simpson walks off the roof and gets electrocuted and falls right on his head and snaps his neck, he's not walking around in the next scene, right? Like, and they're yellow, like when we're watching The Simpsons, we recognize that there doesn't need to be continuity because there is the willing suspension. We are willingly suspending our disbelief.
We've put their disc into the CD player and we're playing
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's the same thing in theater, in opera, in movies. It just so happens that if it's a live action movie, everything needs to be like you're watching a movie about fucking Superman, which is an alien. Like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, here's where I will get pissed off. Where I would get pissed off.
Yes, keep it.
Here's
please.
where I would get pissed off because I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. I
Force
love
Awakens #1.
Yeah, exactly. I hate Star Wars. Not Star Wars. I hate the last 3 movies.
Force Awakens.
For the reason of it did not maintain the continuity of the characters that have been built and fleshed out and developed through gameplay of the video games, the comic books, and all of the movies previously. Okay? That's my beef with it.
There's choppiness, though. J.J. Abrams was a part of the first and then disappeared. Ryan Johnson took over and absolutely butchered 2.
Yeah,
and then 3 was a slop job of making the twist.
At the end,
Spoiler
right?
alert.
Palpatine?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
It went off the rails after the number 7.
I liked number 7. I thought it was pretty good.
Dude, that final scene in the forest, like that was
That was badass.
Rey was great casting.
But the trilogy in totality for the final trilogy
Overall, yes.
was terrible.
Horrible.
And the worst 3 words in all of cinema, somehow Palpatine returned. We're not given that. We're not given that. You know what I'm saying? That's where I get annoyed with that sort of stuff. But again, it's the willing suspension of disbelief. You have to be like, oh well. For example,
it doesn't matter if you plugged into that world; it can still suck. Like,
did you ever hear George Lucas talking to Mark Hamill about like him? They were arguing about his character and like, oh well, what would he do, and like these interconflicted emotions and this and that. You ever hear that? No. Okay, so George Lucas was Mark Hamill's arguing with George Lucas about something. You could look this up. I forget. They were arguing. He's like, but what about this? And what would he do here? And this and that. And then George Lucas, this was his reply. Very simple. Hey, it's not that type of movie, kid. It's just not that type of movie. So it's like that, like anytime where I get, and again, I'm a Star Wars fanboy, and I'm like, oh, Luke would never do that. But what? Hey, it's just not that type of movie, kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, we forget this is for, like you just said, these are for children. These are children's movies.
but the Man of Steel and Dark Knight,
They're not children's movies, that's true.
they crossed over. That's why they were so great. Like, this is just it's not. I've had lemon pie. Like, when there's nothing else to crave, like I'll eat it with a cup of coffee, but it's like not my preference.
I agree with that. I can definitely get behind that.
There's a lot of zombie movies, but I like Army of the Dead versus Walking Dead. Yeah, I don't. It's preference. Same thing with Game of Thrones. Like, Breaking Bad, you guys can have that. You know, I like my limited series shows. What are you watching? Do you even have time to watch? I haven't watched the TV show, and I can't even tell you the last time I watched a TV show. I haven't watched the TV show within months.
My guilty pleasure, whatever. What I'll fall asleep to is I'll watch like the Road to UFC BJJ 2, 1, 2, whatever. Their like Ultimate Fighter thing. Like I watch. I still watch that shit.
You're going out to Vegas, right? Can that be?
We could air that. Yeah. End of the month. Yeah, we're gonna do a little early pre-training camp for Vola.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll do a vlog. I'm sure he'll have plenty of posts in the PI.
I think I'm gonna vlog it. Not to be an influencer and be like, oh yeah, look at me. But just it's for my own memory of like, hey, Dad used to do some cool shit, or Dad still does some cool shit.
Yeah.
So,
pumped for you.
Stuff.
I
mean, I appreciate that.
It's gonna be cool when you get reunited with some of the people in the PI, and that's what I care about, the relationships building, and that's pretty awesome, man.
I'm excited to train. I'm excited to kind of
wait, did you train the last time you were out there?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. I did. I didn't spar or anything, but I trained. Now I'll have the jiu-jitsu under my belt.
Do you feel it like, the feeling when you walk in Longos or Serras, like, is it the same with the PI?
To me, when I went to the PI last year, it was like what I imagine it would be like for a kid to go to Disneyland. Because I didn't go to Disneyland as a kid. I didn't go to Disney World as a kid. Which is fine. Like I was never a Disney like adult or a Disney kid or anything like that. But
don't be the Disney adult.
But my whole thing is like, it felt like what Disneyland would feel like for a kid, where I'm just like, oh my God, look at all this cool shit, man. Like, and yeah,
you could just work in on like anything that's open you could go to.
Pretty much. I mean,
like
that's
open.
That's how a lot of the guys, like, if I'm not mistaken, that's how a lot of the guys now that are, they're pro fighters, but like they're not signed by the UFC. Like they get in through their buddies that are in there, and they, they're very accepting of everybody that walks through the door. It's like Tommy trained there too. Tommy went through strength and conditioning and stuff like that, like, which is also crazy to say, man. Like, you're an amateur fighter, and like all the guys of the Serra-Longo team, like, you're an amateur fighter. You get to train with Aljo and Marab, and like that's why all the guys go out there, dude, because it's just it's built for you to live, breathe, eat like the training, which is something that we're trying to replicate here at the Movement Underground.
That's one of the biggest things that I respect, is that John Wood and Ray Longo seem to have like a great working relationship.
Yeah,
like Ray is such an old school guy, and then John Wood is this new wizard. It's like, it's really cool to see them collabing like that. That makes me excited. And like Nas, I'm sure there's a couple others that between the John Wood and Ray Longo family, but yeah, Nazim Sadikov is like a product of the tutelage of Ray, building him up, putting him in the right direction, and then John Wood like looking at the slab of marble and chip here, chip there, and Nas getting mentioned on Rogan is just incredible, man. That just, again,
that's our boy.
Is that imposter syndrome?
That's our boy, dude.
Like, holy crap, the biggest show in the world.
Yeah.
Like, his name's being mentioned. So, but you know what? It's because of his body of work. I'm sure. And a humble dude, man of God, hard worker, funny guy too. Sneakily, very funny. I like it. Keep doing the Q&As. Yeah. Just like us, man. It's a product of the hard work.
Big sushi guy too. Maybe I hope I'm not like...
It's a thing in the fight world. Dude. I'm still always chicken parm over the
bro
sushi.
Can house some fucking sushi.
What, you're talking about like
he can
unlimited?
House, like, yeah, dude. I've gone to some all-you-can-eat with Naz. There's one, I'll give a free shout-out. There's one in Levittown called Ichiban. That's my normal go-to.
Really good?
I've fucked up some Ichiban.
Is it low grade?
No.
Is it unlimited?
So. It's unlimited.
You can eat as much as you want.
Yeah, all you can eat.
Because I'm never full.
I'm pretty sure it's like $34.99 unlimited. Like, It might be cheaper during the
I'm
week.
never full with sushi. Maybe I'll get sick if I eat that much.
We gotta go. You let me take you to an Ichiban
I'll
date.
do a regular sushi. I don't know. How many pieces? You're a big boy, man. Like you could throw down 50 pieces. I feel like I could throw down 20.
Easy.
50. You could do 50?
Probably, yeah.
Why don't we do wings then? Do you
Yeah,
do
I'm a wing
wings?
guy. I'm a wing guy. I like wings.
So do you know?
Even though like I know Buffalo Wild Wings is like dog shit quality wings, but like no, I'm sorry if I fucked up any future sponsorships. I love your product, by the way. I love Buffalo Wild Wings.
Domino's.
I'm a
Probably the
huge
same
Buffalo
answer.
Wild. Like every Thursday night during the football season, me and my fantasy football league.
Dude, tap out. Do you
We
guys have
go-
a tap room?
Yes,
It's dollar wings.
every Thursday night for football season, myself and my fantasy football league of shadows, we go
Is it
to
really
Buffalo.
called the League of Shadows?
No, but we should. Fight Doctor Fantasy Football. We're doing a belt this year. Championship belt and prize money.
My friend finally stepped up his trophy. So, but anyway.
Dude, yeah, so fantasy belt.
Thursdays-
I'm sorry. I'm so excited for football season. But every Thursday, we go to Buffalo Wild Wings and we watch the games, and they have the other TVs with the, like the hockey and the basketball and this and that. But we watch, and it's buy one, get one wings.
Whoa.
Buy one, get one wings.
So that's 50-cent wing. That
Yeah.
beats tap room. Where's the spot?
Buffalo Wild Wings. You go
Oh.
anywhere. You want Levittown and Hicksville.
I'm going
and
to take you to tap room then.
Dude,
Have you heard of tap room?
yeah, I've been there before. I never got the wings, though.
Very good. Very good. Are you a beer drinker?
Sometimes.
Okay. You do the non-alcoholics just for the
I've
taste?
done that. I've definitely done that.
People make fun of me, but
It's not bad.
It gets the job done.
I'm actually one of the people that if I have a beer, I have to enjoy the taste of it. I like the taste of beer. It's not bad.
Yes. I'll probably get in trouble for this, but I drink the non-alcoholics, and so does my 1-year-old daughter. Seriously. But anything else in rapping, closing? We've been flowing for and this is recorded, so that's good. That's always good.
Dude, it's always a great.
It's a weird thing
conversation
that
with you.
now I have to like triple check with us.
Yeah.
because it's like that was a scare. Again, I told you and Ray Longo, the two non-records.
high praise, high company. But dude, it's always a great conversation, and I'm really grateful you came to our humble abode. Shameless plug time. At the Movement Underground. At Warrior Garden, at Dr. Nicholas Giliberti, all on Instagram. Cheers a follow. And at Ictagon. Yeah. What else? Really cool stuff coming from Warrior Garden. Got some jiu-jitsu, no-gi, new jiu-jitsu kits coming. New gloves coming. Hats. I know people have been asking me for the hats. Everything's on the way in due time.
Cool.
Super excited.
As we started, respect you as a professional, as a martial artist, but most of all, as a human being.
Likewise, my brother. Love you lots.
Handshake on camera. Appreciate you. That was a good dap.
Hell yeah.
Peace.
We were not rolling. Oh my God! Are you lying?
No.
Are you fucking with me?
God I stopped it. Thank God I checked.
You're fucking with me,
Not rolling. No, I could pause this right now and show you where we just started. All right. That was a good
dude.
clean
This is a great intro. Great intro. We're starting it over.
Okay.
I gotta put this at the end.
I gave a yes. That
Marker.
Wow. We were not rolling at the beginning. Like the interview that you never heard from us the first time we sat down. It's like almost like we just have to keep these sacred conversations.
Yeah.
Marker, cut, clip, download. Love you guys. All right, now I'll do the real intro. Holy shit.
You gotta add that at the end.
Yes.
Dude, this whole thing needs to go at the end. That's amazing.
All right. 3, 2, 1.